Hello guys, we have gotten a new shiny tool to play with. The Dark Culture has been receiving a new rework, complete rework. We got a new patch only available on beta called the Gargoyle patch. I will link the patch notes in the description. A bunch of different changes, but the biggest one I definitely think was this rework. The problems with the Dark faction before was that their unit roster was just weak, especially their early game units. It was just difficult to even do some useful stuff with your opening army. But now that has changed completely. I think they now have not only a decent early game roster, but a very strong one. Look at this guy. He's able to, every unit in this subculture Cult of Tyranny is able to heal themselves for quite a bit, and also inflict quite a lot of status resistance debuffs, both with the exploit vulnerability there that we see, but also from an aura of tyranny. Now this level 1 unit is able to revive, and also, as every unit, is able to heal himself. So a very strong unit, I think, from the start. Their archer has a zero cost teleport to really allow them to get 3 attacks that hit the enemy. This faction now also have a good tier 2 unit, battle mage on a horse, which matters quite a bit because their best unit, their tier 3 unit, is a really good unit now on a horse. So you might want to be specializing with cavalry. You might want to invest in a nice mount when you're experimenting with builds for these guys. Okay, let's take a look a little bit on what the changes were and why we might want to think in a certain way when we're coming up with a build for this faction. So we don't get to start with a Whispering Stone. Unfortunate, yes. But we have a lot of strengths. We're able to interact with the city-states quite well in that we can take their leader hostage and so on. But mostly we have way better buildings. Look at this, 20 gold, 30 gold. Even we get an Imperium income that we can build in each city. But yes, we will suffer some city stability that can be really bad. If you go down to a certain level of negative city stability, it will start to shoo away quite heavily on your gold income. So when you're designing a build, you might want to pick up a tome or two helping you out with increasing city stability. Yes, you do get a little bit back eventually when you have some vassals, but still, you might want to invest in a tome or two helping you out with city stability. But most of all, we have gotten really good combat buffs, or combat bonuses to this faction right now. All our units seem to be good in melee, considering they have this aura of tyranny, just reducing a little bit of the enemy's status resistance. We're also able to reduce their status resistance even further with our attacks, and we're also able to heal quite a bit. And then, as you saw there before, our unit roster has been increased quite a bit. I have mostly experimented with one of the subcultures right now, and that's the one I've been building some builds on. So let's focus on the Cult of Tyranny for now. Their tier 3 unit is very interesting. It has a regular charge strike that has the normal dark abilities, exploit vulnerability and the aura of tyranny. But then this unit has 2 other things going for him. He has an ability that is able to put himself into defense mode, and that's just as good in general. But it's also nice that we have an alternative that isn't a charge attack. Let's say we're up against a polearm unit, then it's really valuable for us to not be forced to charge into a unit that doesn't care about our charge. For that unit, we can just trample him instead. And we also get a really good self-healing unit. So this unit has two ways of healing himself. Exploit vulnerability and despotic vitality. So what can we do with this? I've come up with 2 really nice builds. One of them goes into the plant people because the plant people have a bonus to healing, and then I just try to max out healing to stay alive and also inflict negative morale. And the other one, actually let us go over them one by one. Let's start with this one. In my first suggestion for what to do with this subculture of dark is we aim to be as tanky as we possibly can and do as much negative morale on the enemy as we possibly can. So the tactic here is we mostly spam Tyrant Knights and we build Bone Dragons. If you don't know, the Bone Dragon has been improved quite a bit if you played this game several years ago. The Bone Dragon is now a tier 4 unit and you can quite easily summon them. Before you had to kill a tier 5 unit in order to summon a Bone Dragon. Now it's enough if you kill a tier 4 unit. So Bone Dragons have been just increased, they've gotten better stats, they're easy to summon, and the Tyrant Knight that we just went over also is according to me very strong. So what tools do we have to reduce their enemy morale? We have the Nightmare Mount having a 90% chance to reduce. We can actually check that real quick. The Nightmare Mount has a 90% chance of inflicting negative 5 morale to everybody close by. Extra easy for us to succeed with because the subfaction is so good at removing status resistance. We're also getting the Vicious Killer ability, reducing their enemy morale even further when we get a kill. We also do pick up critical hit chance here with the Overwhelm Tactics because critical hit chance inflict negative 5 morale each time you crit. We also have a good edge here because we're good at flanking as well, you know. We have a 48 movement charger. That's the best unit there is for flanking. And the way the game works, here we have some information on morale in the wiki. So if you critical hit, you inflict negative 5 morale. If you succeed with a flank, you inflict negative 3. And then we have the Inspire killing when we get a kill from the Nightmare Mount and everything. So already from level 1, we have quite a lot of options to reduce their morale with the Nightmare Mount and the flanking and the critical hits. But quite soon we do, of course, pick up Tome of Doom Herald. Let us check that real quick. For the morale stealing with the Joy Siphoners and good spell in an AoE, reducing their morale even further. And then eventually we do go toward Tome of the Great Transformation. We like auras, and I will explain that very soon. Okay, I'll give a hint. We like the Tome of Sanctuary because even if you're put out, I can't wait to show you with the Keeper's Mark. Even if you're going into this pacified mode, your auras still work. You're still inflicting. Your units is super valuable, even if they're put to 1 health and are activated this pacified mode. They can't do shit, but their auras still work. So for that reason, in this build, the Fetid Legion is better than you might think. Also, we will go a lot into healing, and we really want to survive long enough for us to rout the enemy off the field. So the Undead Lifesteal build is quite good here. We could check let us check the Bone Dragon real also. Where do we see dragons? Tier 4 Bone Dragon. yeah, I mean, we have a big AoE decay, we have a big AoE remove retaliation defense. This guy is flying, so yes, he's a little bit slower and might slow your army down a little bit, considering your other units will have 48 movement. But because he's flying, he won't slow you down that much, because he will use less action points to move over the terrain compared to your horses. So yeah, nice unit. And as I said there, we pick up the Tome of Sanctuary because it just works so well for a unit that is useful when it does nothing. And that's what we are. We just want to stand in the enemy's face, do nothing, inflict our auras, eventually rout the enemy off the field. We have one big weakness in this build, and that is we're so focused on healing. So what do we do if the enemy takes away some more healing? There is one status effect in this game called Decaying that removes or reduces healing by a lot. And but we don't care, because we pick up this tome, giving us the grand protection, and we have a reliable way of giving all our units in a big AoE regeneration, and that counters Decaying. There we see, oh, actually, sorry, my face is in the way. Let me show you in there. No, it's still in the way. Here we see regeneration counters poisoned and decaying. So going this tome, we make sure we will still get to heal a lot, and thus survive, and then eventually rout the enemy off the field. The other tome choices here are mostly here for just giving us more survivability. And one cool added bonus is that the Tome of the Golden Realm in the Materium tree has an AoE stun ability, which is extra valuable for us, because we will remove the status resistance a lot by the enemies. So we will almost be guaranteed to stun enemies in a big AoE with this ability. That is my first build suggestion. Spamming Tyrant Knight, Bone Dragons. We really try to focus on, getting bonus defense and resistance and healings from the Grace, from the Tome of Prosperity, from the Undead Whiteborn in the Tome of... I see I have written the wrong name there. It should be the Great Transformation, I think is the name of it. Great Transformation. Yeah, I made it short. That's the first build. The second build would be leaning more into the Nature Boys. For those that do not know, the Nature Boys or the Plant Boys gives you a 20% increased healing. Since we're aiming to heal a lot, and once again, this unit has so many ways of healing himself just on its own, we will get a lot of value from the Gaia's Chosen. And not only that, but some other nature tomes, such as Tome of Vigor, fits us really well as well. Charge units have a really strong attack, so their retaliation attack is also very good, because they use their normal attack for a retaliation. And having an extra retaliation is just valuable to us. Also could be good to know, even if you take damage in this game. Let's say you have a unit with three models, and you take 1/3 health damage. That means you now only have 2 models left in that little unit. So you will do reduced damage. Even if you're healing back to full, you still only have 2 models, and thus you will do reduced damage. So having something like super growth here, where you decrease the number of units in formation, that leads to you not weakening your damage as much. You would have to go down quite far down to do reduced damage. So that's just another really good tome for us. Also, animals in general have been buffed, where you now get to, if you watch here, for the call greater animal, we get to choose which animal we want to summon. It's dependent on the surface we place it on, so we can just be careful where we place it, and we get to pick exactly what animal we want. And what is good then is, once again, we're really good at removing enemy status resistance. So we could pick up something like the Ice Spider Matriarch and just freeze people in a big 2-hex cone. I think also our build has one really big weakness, I would say, and that is if the enemy is really going, really focusing on polearm units. Yes, we do have one trample attack to respond with, but the polearm units are still very good to you versus your horses. So then you can bring like a Hunter Spider Matriarch or something like that, where they have this AoE ranged ability. It's melee, but it's a big cone, so it's technically a ranged as well. That would slow them. It's guaranteed to slow all them. And what happens if you're slowed is you remove your retaliation attack. So even if those polearm units in the enemy army have this first strike, if we remove the retaliation, they can't use that against you. So the spiders are good for you to handle your biggest weakness, which is polearm spam from the enemy. Great, so that's the thought here. Once again, we have a lot of ways to reduce morale with critical hit, with Nightmare Mount AoE aura, and with we have some a distract spell from the Tome of Beast, causing us to easily land our flank attacks, causing -3 morale. We get even more critical hits from a couple of tomes here in the nature tree, allowing us to inflict -5 morale. But yeah, this is how I feel the new dark culture could be handled. We focus on defense and negative morale, and thus beat the enemy. Great, guys, that's a little quick guide on what you can expect from the new rework of the dark culture. Good luck out there. Have a nice day. Blah, blah, blah.